you are riding in the cab of a steam locomotive on a summer night in 1887, somewhere on the lake shore and Michigan Southern. The engineer is leaning out his window, watching the rail ahead in the glow of a kerosene headlamp. The light reaches perhaps 100 feet down the track. Beyond that, there is only darkness, and somewhere in that darkness there may be a stopped train, a switch thrown the wrong way, or a cow on the rail. He has no way to know until he can see it, and by the time he can see it, he often cannot stop. This is the story of how the railroad spent its first half-century operating largely blind, and how a slow accumulation of signaling technology finally let trains run safely at speed in the dark. The earliest American railroads operated on what was called timetable and train order. A printed schedule told every crew where every other train was supposed to be at every hour of the day. Dispatchers in distant offices issued written orders by telegraph to modify those schedules. The engineer carried his orders in his pocket, read them in the cab, and trusted that every other engineer on the line had read his correctly. When the system worked, it worked. When it did not, the result was a head-on collision on a single track, and through the 1860s and 1870s, such collisions were among the most common causes of mass casualty in American transportation. The industry's first response was the manual block signal. The line was divided into segments, and at the boundary of each segment, a man stood in a small wooden tower with a lever. He would set a semaphore arm to indicate whether the block ahead was occupied. The system worked tolerably on busy main lines where every tower could be staffed. It worked poorly on branch lines and at night, where a tired operator could miss a passing train or set the wrong indication. The real solution came from a quiet realization about the rails themselves. Steel rail conducts electricity. If a low voltage was applied to one rail and a return path provided through the other, the wheels and axle of any train on that block would short the circuit. A relay in a trackside cabinet would drop, and a signal at the entrance to the block would turn red. No human had to set it. No human could forget to set it. The block itself reported its own occupation. The track circuit was patented by William Robinson in 1872, and over the following decades, it became the foundation of every automatic block signal system in the world. Records show that by the 1920s, the major American trunk lines were running thousands of trains a day under automatic signal protection, and the head-on collision on a busy main line had become a rare event rather than a recurring one. The signal at the end of the block did not eliminate the dispatcher, and it did not eliminate human error. A train could still pass a stop signal, but it gave the engineer something he had never had before. A piece of the railroad ahead of him that knew on its own whether it was safe to enter.